Welcome into the Jordy Culotta Show. Wave your hand out there, baby!
Shout out to the show.
She puts the pinky into the nostril. Man, look at that.
Healthy competition, there's nothing like it.
Y'all grow up.
The line's wrapped around the stadium.
Different strengths. I just lost a tooth.
It's going to be fun.
You know, we might have a story.
I love what you're doing.
Ogeron wants to take us fishing this afternoon.
Sharif, you play for the bad boys of the SEC, man. We don't apologize to anybody.
A lot of people are saying you're going to be wearing number 7.
I don't really know. I want to.
He look crazy, Bill.
Good feet on the old man.
Definitely come back. I love.
We'll be right back with the Jordy Culotta Show. Welcome into a Monday edition of the Jordy Culotta Show right here on this Monday live. If you don't mind, hit that like button, share button, comment button, as we'll be with you here till after 8 a.m. this morning. Doug Thompson is going to stop by at 7:45. We'll talk to him about LSU taking 2 of 3 from Texas A&M over the weekend as the Tigers were scorching hot Friday and Saturday, came from behind on Saturday to take the win, and yesterday squandered a lead late to Texas A&M, as A&M had a 4-run 8th inning that really propelled them to the victory yesterday. So LSU now 2-1 in conference play as they will come home and host Arkansas. Arkansas swept Auburn over the weekend. A nice start to the college baseball weekend. We'll recap some of it, including Tennessee getting swept in Missouri as the Tigers sweep the Volunteers yesterday. A big win for Missouri's baseball program yesterday. But we'll talk all about LSU as they dominated Texas A&M for a lot and the majority of that series. We will talk to Douglas. We will talk to Doug Thompson coming up here at 7:30 this morning. Obviously, we'll react to March. March Madness is here. What your brackets look like, and they busted up after 3 number 1 seeds getting knocked out in the opening weekend. Lots to get to with March Madness, as it truly is maddening here after the first weekend. It was a lot of cool basketball, great basketball happening, including one of the worst beats that you'll ever see. Got to be one of the worst beats. Last night in the Gonzaga game. All right, Lloyd is here. Stewie is here. We're workshopping Lloyd's suspension here.
Just whenever you need me, like a substitute teacher.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Always on call at this
Who
point.
wants content?
Everybody had a good weekend. St. Patrick's Day. Lived up to it.
Survived.
Give me
Survived in
stories.
advance.
I was in AAU basketball gym. I was in a basketball gym.
Love back here, sleep through us. How did that go? How'd we do?
2-0 on Saturday. Nice start to the season. Competition should kick up a little bit. No doubt the opposing team had a 14-year-old on a 12U team. I'm telling you, Stewie, I'm going to send you this picture.
Air this kid out?
No. It's not even really about the kid. I mean, this kid is no doubt going to be an SEC wide receiver at some point. What's the best form here, Stewie? Text?
Email it.
Yeah, email it.
Kids' parents are probably watching right now.
Which one?
Stewie at FM.
Well, if they are, you're welcome.
Free pub.
Yeah, right. This kid, and if you're Frank Wilson and Brian Kelly, get on the trail. But mind you, Stewie, when you pull it up, I'll give the backstory. But that's where I was. Tell me where you were. I mean, I was no fun for y'all.
Earlapalooza, baby. I was looking for you. Last year, we had Jordy was VIP braceleted up. You know, me and Stu were on the other side of the chain link fence.
Yes.
Dabbling.
Terrible day for me last year, though.
Yeah, I think you bounced back this
time.
Yeah,
I bounced back this year for sure.
Was that when you lost everything?
Yeah.
Lost the phone?
Lost my mind. Ron lost the phone.
Oh, yeah, and found it.
Yeah, but I lost myself.
But that's Ron losing everything. When he lost his phone, he was like, I don't know what to do. I'm just going to keep looking. He found it in the bush somewhere. Stewie got $80 worth of, what was it? Zippies.
Yes.
And then he's like, I don't even remember eating anything. I don't even remember spending $80. But this year, I feel like we had a little bit more reined in and went to Earlapalooza. Jared Foster's a legend. Just in case if you thought he still has his fastball.
Yes.
Everything works out for that man. Just gets girls are just all over him. Just gets
Right.
come
It's
up
a
to.
magnet.
It's unbelievable. I'm just trying to catch.
Yeah.
I just want to be around for the party.
Easy.
Easy.
Don't-
Yeah,
don't
that's
let
what I'm
the-
saying.
don't let the
I'll
cat out of
let
the
it.
bag.
Yeah, let it
don't
live
let the
there.
plan out.
Yes.
Don't let the plan out.
But me, Mike, you saw Ethan Pochich there.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, we had a good one.
Newly inked Cleveland Brown.
That's right. Jared Foster, Jared Mitchell, whole mic'd up crew was out. We had a good time. They rode in parade. I did not. But other than that, Yin Yang Twins, B.O.B., just a
Juvie?
juvie. You just really can't lose.
Was it a
there.
bunch of 40-year-olds?
Yeah, I think that's what the plan is. You just get bangers.
No, is that what it was? Was that what it was? Was the crowd? Like a
Oh,
bunch of-
I think it's kind of like I
Yeah.
think like mid-30s
Right.
and below, 18 to 33 is what it felt like. But everybody that's ever heard like those type of music, it's like the sideshow. You're there for more of the everything around it. It's just cool to have something to go see, and then they pop up with Juvie, and you're just like, oh, this is fun too. Straight background music.
Nice.
Go live on stage.
Well, it looked fantastic. It was cold. It's freezing this morning, boys.
Oh my God.
Stewie, how about that picture?
Yeah,
I mean, is that kid? Is that unreal?
I mean, he looks like he's about to do a.
I mean, he looks
East
like he's
Bay
about to jump
dunk.
over him. It looks like a
Yeah.
dunk contest.
Pull this thing up.
Is he trying to take a charge?
He stepped out of the way.
Well, it won't pull up
Yeah.
on VMix because different format. The way it's formatted.
But he did step out of the way. But it looked fantastic. The cold weather was a little chilly. Last night, we went to the Maravich Center. We went to the game last night to Michigan, LSU. A fantastic atmosphere for the ladies as they move on to the Sweet 16. LSU ladies do after a win over Michigan 66-42, and to where Angel Reese with another huge double-double. Reese yesterday was dominant. We were sitting around a couple of bros for the game last night and just talking about, I mean, Angel Reese, the way that she's able to kind of just tap the ball to herself around the rim. I mean, a lot of it looks like over the back, but it's really not. I mean, the way she's able to kind of use her length and tap the ball to herself. She's got incredible hands. I mean, I imagine she would be a fantastic wide receiver, tight end. Mm-hmm. I mean, because of just she
radius.
catches everything. I mean, anything that comes around her, the way that she's able to snap the ball is really impressive. I mean, I believe she had 9 boards in the first quarter.
And she took one to the mouth, like the first play.
Yeah, in the first play. I mean, it was the first play of the game. And the referee was just like staring at her. I mean, like for the first possession, I mean, the referee's just like looking at her. She's got blood like pouring out of her lip. And the
Play
referee just kind of like just let it kept going. So, yeah, she was able to kind of patch it up. I think she put a mouthpiece in and came out and just really dominated.
But what do you think? Would you like the way I describe her game is like it's almost unorthodox. Like the way that she scores, it doesn't look natural, but I guess it is. Like it seems easy, but every time she puts a shot up, it just doesn't feel like it's going to go in.
Well, she's got kind of a weird shot. You know, she's got like this left-handed kind of push, right, where it's not like a pure
not
jumper.
smooth, but
right.
it works.
Her free throw is smooth, but her game is very rugged. You know, like I mean, it's kind of like she's bringing the ball down. She kind of throws it up.
Plays
but,
the angles.
I mean, the way that she rebounds, I really can't think of a rebounder that, you know, like Dennis Rodman used to do that. I mean, he would kind of tip it to himself and kind of be able to, you know, like play above everybody and jump above everybody. I mean, she is one of the more dominant rebounders that LSU. I mean, Sylvia Fowles comes to mind, obviously. I mean, I'm thinking actually both men and women's who has been able to, you know, rebound and affect the game like she does. I mean, a lot of times last night, Michigan's got good. They've got good position. I mean, they're boxing her out. They're trying to move her out of the way, and she just kind of like go gadget. Like kind of just like gets like jumps over you or like extends and like pops the ball back to herself and either, you know, makes the right pass, goes back up, gets to the free throw line. She did miss a couple of gimmies last night, but all in all, I thought that the atmosphere, the way that LSU was able to control that game, they knocked down shots, you know, when they needed to. You know, it wasn't the smoothest game for last night for LSU last night, but it was without question enough to get it done. And Angel Reese, like we said, I mean, she had 25 points. She had 24 boards, 6 blocks, 4 assists, 3 steals. I mean, like, it just, she is, you know, I know that we've talked about her a lot this season, and deservedly so. She was on last night, man. I mean, she was on, and you know, I thought LaDasia Williams played well, and LSU now moves on as they will advance and move on to the Sweet 16 under Kim Mulkey here in year 2. But Angel Reese yesterday versus Michigan was fantastic. Don't forget, Daily, we're brought to you by Katie's Restaurant. Katie's is located down in New Orleans, a neighborhood restaurant for the entire city, located on Iberville Street. Remember, you can find their menu online if you're traveling and getting to New Orleans this week and you want to take a look and glance at it beforehand. Look online at katiesinmidcity.com, katiesinmidcity.com. Tell them you heard it here on the Jordy Culotta Show, and you can always check out their sister restaurant, which is Francesca's by Katie's, which is located in Lakeview. All the information online at katiesinmidcity.com. LSU baseball travels over to Texas A&M this weekend, where the Tigers dominate A&M on Friday night. Paul Skeens is fastly becoming discussion as a possible number 1 pick. I think that he is really in a lot of the people that we've been watching, you know, and listening to. You know, and just the insiders of college baseball and some of the pro scouts that are on social media, you can see just how impressed people are with what Skeens is doing now, week in, week out. And this past weekend versus Texas A&M was no different for Skeens. On Friday night, he was absolutely dealing, man. I mean,
Another shutty.
he feels like the best player in college baseball.
If you're LSU, you feel like you have possibly the first and second overall pick, maybe. If you're Dylan Cruz and Paul Skeens, you have 2 guys that could go 1-2.
You've definitely got 2 top 5 picks.
No doubt.
Either way.
Either
you know
way.
what I mean? Like, whatever, however you want to chop it up, whatever you want to, you know, say about it. Dylan Cruz and Paul Skeens feel like 2 of the best that college baseball has right now. And on Friday night, Skeens in his SEC debut, 6 1/3 scoreless on Friday night, where he was he was intimidating. No walks, 11 strikeouts, just over 100 pitches, gave up 4 hits, but again was just nobody hit him really solid. Nobody hit the ball hard on him. It was just a very impressive night for all for LSU. All in all, as they had 10 hits on the night, but Skeens, in the way that he pitched and even the way that the bullpen performed after him, with Little closing it out and Ackerman coming in there, I thought Friday night that was the opening to SEC play was fantastic. On Saturday they rallied. It was a little bit of a different story, but I say they rallied. They never panicked. You know, I mean, if you were watching that game, and we had a chance to watch that game after Jordan's basketball games, we just kind of went to Superior and sat down and started having some margaritas and watching sports and basketball and baseball. And we were watching LSU, and we walked in, they were down. I believe they were down 4-0. Yeah, 4-0. And it was, I mean, if you were watching the game or you were listening to it or if you happened to be there, you realize, like, LSU never really – they never panicked. They never got freaked out about it. They all kind of stayed cool. Garrett Edwards was really good coming in to relieve Ty Floyd early on. Jared Jones hit a home run that, I mean, like, feels like it hadn't landed yet. He had seven ribbies on the day. There's a shot of him standing on the third base bag yesterday next to LSU's third base coach.
He looks like a giant.
It looks fake.
Bear.
Like it looks. I'm telling you, it looks unreal. Like it does not. It looks fake. I mean, it looks like a basketball player standing next to a basket. It looks like Patrick Ewing, what he used to look like standing next to Jeff Van Gundy. When Van Gundy was his coach, and Ewing would like come to the sideline and stand next to him, you'd be like, how does this?
How does this work?
I mean, how does this even get the
respect
message
factor.
to get
Yeah.
there? Yeah, right. Like, how does this hit?
Game of telephone.
But I mean, like Jones was standing next to the coach yesterday, and I mean, it looked like a cartoon. Jones was 4 of 5 from the plate on Saturday. Hit a 3-run home run and had 7 ribbies as LSU scored 13 on Saturday. And I thought yesterday, look, they were up for a lot of that game. They fell 8-6, as we said, in the 8th inning yesterday. Texas A&M put up 4 runs. A lot of that game, LSU looked in control. It was a tough loss. Not sweeping sucks, for sure, if you're LSU. Arkansas, I believe, was the only team in the conference that swept this weekend as they had the broom out versus Auburn. Missouri swept. I meant on the western side. But from LSU standpoint, I think the takeaway is how much they dominated the weekend. You know, I think, you know, yesterday is and hopefully will play out to be a bit of an anomaly in the sense of I believe LSU is more of Friday and Saturday than who they are the last 2 innings of Sunday. And even really, you know, I mean, the first 7 innings of Sunday.
Well, there's no panic in the team, like you said, because if you can get down 4-0, they know that lineup's going to bang. It's just a matter of who's going to do it, because we were talking about this a little bit last night on Hold the Rope and on Friday on Mic'd Up, where it's just there's no breaks. If it's up to Jay Johnson to be able to kind of move the chess pieces around a little bit, then you can even say the same thing about how the bullpen looks, where you can feel like you can bring in Christian Little, who on Saturday comes in and dominates. He just gets, I think he pitched 3 innings, gets 3 straight outs, and it's just, all right, everybody kind of feels like they know their role. The only thing that, if there was one thing to take away, is Paxton Kling struggled a little bit. Freshman gets inserted as like he was the leadoff hitter, struggles all weekend really, but he's so talented that Jay Johnson has no problem rolling him back out there again. Like, there's no pressure on him to have to perform, even though there's guys on the bench that can play. But the way that they're set up, it just feels every time they're out there, they got a chance to put a crooked number up.
Yeah, and you know, for the most part, I will say that the consistency that Kling was playing with really came to a screeching halt Saturday and Sunday.
He was on fire.
He couldn't sustain the output he was producing at, but he and Morgan really went going quiet on Saturday and Sunday. Really, I thought turned out to be the difference of at least offensively not having that firepower like it felt like they had. Throughout the weekend, they get that back, much more sooner.
And A&M's defense, the way that they played Trey Morgan, he was just hitting it right at people. They had shifted him a little bit up the middle, and he was just pounding balls right at the shortstop because they had shifted him. I mean, a lot of those times, if they're not shifted over, those are all 3 base hits. Instead, he just hit screamers right at the shortstop, and it's what can you do? I don't know if you have to change your approach a little bit, if other teams are going to start taking notes on what A&M did defensively and trying to play LSU a little bit differently.
Central Arkansas is going to be in town on Tuesday, and then Arkansas is in Baton Rouge starting Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. First pitch on Friday scheduled for 7 o'clock at the box, as we will get another look here at the home opener in conference play for LSU baseball, as I thought they looked clear-cut the top team in the country this weekend for the way that they performed in a very hostile environment on Friday night, to say the least, in the way that they responded and shut out A&M in that opener. I thought was really impressive in the story of the weekend. I thought that was my biggest takeaway was more of how LSU really dominated what felt like the first 2.5 days of competition versus A&M, rather than the way that they kind of collapsed yesterday afternoon in the last 2 innings to give up a pretty bad loss. So it'll be interesting to see LSU bounce back this week, and Central Arkansas coming into town on Tuesday, with Arkansas coming into town on Friday. But as we said, we'll talk to Doug Thompson about this coming up here at about 7:40 this morning as Dougie will be here to give us a little preview of the week ahead. We'll get his thoughts of the weekend. As look, Doug was the one saying it last week. You'll find out just how good LSU is. We'll find out some of the things we've been curious about from LSU here early on, and we'll talk to Doug and get his thoughts of it. All right, the Sweet 16 is set in March Madness. I thought it was an incredible weekend of basketball. For sports, I think everybody's trying to achieve parity, right? The NFL sought it out with the creation of the salary cap, with the protection of the quarterbacks, in trying to really, get the championships out of Pittsburgh and Dallas in the 70s and 80s, and start to spread the wealth and start to see people, win championships. Teams like New Orleans and Seattle, who, Tampa, who, thought they never had a chance at winning titles, now, feel year in, year out as they've got just as good a shot as anybody. New York, Los Angeles, Dallas, or, Pittsburgh, whoever, Philadelphia. Parity has been reached in the NFL. Parity, I would say, is best in college basketball. It is the sport that, obviously this is what March is built of, but now specifically, the gap between the best and the worst is much slimmer in college basketball, it feels, than any other sport, right? I mean, if you look at the big takeaway after the field of 64 was trimmed down to 16 after the first weekend, no number one seeds except only one remaining. And that is the overall number one seed of the tournament in Alabama, who looks really good. Really good. But, I mean, Kansas bounced. Purdue bounced. Who am I missing?
Duke.
No, they weren't a one seed.
Oh.
3-1 Houston.
Yeah.
No, they're still in it.
Yeah, Houston's
Still in it?
They're a one seed, yeah. So there's two one seeds.
Two one
left.
seeds.
Alabama and Houston are the two one seeds
That's
left.
right.
And you had Arkansas and Musselman upset Kansas, and upset Kansas, takes his shirt off, calls the Hogs. I mean, you just really can't.
It was a beautiful scene for Musselman.
Yeah, I was about to say, you can't really blame him this time.
It was a
there's
beautiful scene
times
for
whatever
Musselman.
he overdoes it, but I mean, to see him to go to the Sweet 16 and him be able to take his shirt off on national television and just call the Hogs, like, that's who he is. You know what you're getting every time Musselman's out. But they're on a fantastic run right now too. Obviously, you see the strength of the SEC, and this is what happens whenever in March Madness, when you only have to play one game. Anything can happen in one. It's not like, when you do a 7-game series like in the NBA playoffs. That's when parity doesn't really come to play, because it's tough to win 4, easy to win 1, and you keep moving on. That's what makes it the best tournament in all of sports.
Florida Atlantic alive. Princeton still alive. How about Michigan State and Tom Izzo going back to their 15th Sweet 16 in 25 years?
Man loves
that
March.
Izzo has been the head coach of the program. Arkansas, as we said, going back. Creighton going back. Xavier, I thought, very impressive under Sean Miller this weekend, going back to a Sweet 16. Kansas State yesterday, in the way that they beat Kentucky. That was a fantastic basketball game, and that game going back and forth as Keontae Johnson knocked down a huge shot in front of the K-State bench to give the Wildcats the win yesterday afternoon. How about Tennessee yesterday, coming back and getting that win over Duke, 65-52, in a game that really was thought going to be a slugfest and going to be a rock fight. Tennessee really extended that game and took control of it early on and never gave it up. A lot of people have UConn right now as their dark horse, a team that can beat just about anybody left standing in the tournament. Through the first 2 games, UConn has felt a little bit maybe like the best team, as they have. Look, UConn is in a familiar place. They'll play Arkansas coming up on Thursday. Look out for the Huskies. Texas still alive. UCLA still alive. As we said, Alabama the top overall seed. But the first 2 rounds were thrilling I mean, how about Furman beating Virginia? We mentioned that after Thursday's opener when Virginia's player just threw the ball up into the middle of the floor. Furman comes down, knocks down the three to get the win. Fairleigh Dickinson and Princeton. Princeton moving on. Princeton doesn't feel like a fluke. They don't feel like an accident. Princeton's a good team.
Did you see the video of Princeton's campus after they won? They advanced. Nobody's doing anything.
Yeah.
They're just. I mean, what is that? The Ivy League.
On brand.
Yeah, we're worried about school here. We don't even know that we have a basketball team.
I have a test
Fairleigh
tomorrow.
Dickinson was
Yeah.
a pretty much a party school, like a big party school back in the day.
I can see that. But I mean, Princeton. How do you not have anybody on campus that's excited to be at the Sweet State? Like
No feel.
no feel. They just. I got a test today. I didn't even know we had a basketball team. It's just funny to see whether it be a blue blood or somebody that at least is interested. Like I guess the best way to put it is look at LSU's campus for the women's game. That place was on fire. The PMAC was on full tilt. You have Luther going into the stands. Schwartz goes to the stands. They're all like crowd surfing. It's a perfect send-off for the seniors. That's what Angel Reese said after the game. She's like, I wanted to make sure that the seniors got sent off right. Our last game in the PMAC, how they advanced to the Sweet 16. But the environment you were there.
Yeah.
The environment seemed awesome on TV.
It was awesome, man. It really was. I mean, the way that it played through the television, I'm sure was awesome because inside that building was fantastic. I mean, it was loud. The fans were engaged.
The Bengals. Dominic Bengals do it one more time.
It was incredible, man. I mean, it was that game never felt really close,
right?
From LSU standpoint.
And that's what you wanted to see after last year. You want to see them be able to take advantage of being a 3 seed, whether they should have been a 2 or a 1. That obviously that's out the window now once you get down to the Sweet 16. But being able to take care of business as they did, they look like one of the more dominant teams in the tournament despite the seeding. So it feels like we're ramping up towards a South Carolina, LSU, Stanford goes down, and so there's room for LSU to continue this run and maybe have a little future on them out there. Let's see, but that's all you can ask for is to be. It feels like a marketed success if you can get to the Sweet 16, right?
Ole Miss, how about their ladies yesterday beating Stanford?
Mincy.
Yeah, man, it was great to see that go down. Because Ole Miss that was a tough matchup for LSU this year. They had South Carolina
on the ropes
in overtime in Oxford the week after LSU played South Carolina in Columbus. So it was good to see the Ole Miss ladies win that game. But as far as the men's side goes, Florida Atlantic was kind of the story of the opening weekend, as they became the second ever 16 seed to beat Purdue as number 1 falls again. The Boilermakers go down with a 1 seed next to their name. And if you're Purdue and you're Matt Painter, they have not performed. In fact, the entire Big Ten, man, has not performed in the tournament. But Purdue overall, which I know the Big Ten was hanging their hat on, you got a question on what the plan is with Purdue basketball. How many times can you squander, such good teams each year with just bad play? I mean, the fact that Edey didn't touch the ball in the last 13 minutes of the game should almost be a fireable offense.
They're triple teaming him.
But I mean, he's still got to get clean. I mean, the fact that he just was not involved in the game. I mean, is just. I don't know, man. I mean, that's, that you get to that stage, he's the best player in the sport. I understand that there's game plans and trying to take him out, but if you're the top team or at least one of the top teams, you got to have other players step up. But I mean, I will credit, I believe it was Stan Van Gundy. We were talking about Jeff Van Gundy. Stan Van Gundy was on the call. I mean, he was calling Purdue out. I mean, it was like nobody wanted to shoot. Nobody wanted to score. And when you kind of get tight on that stage in that moment, that's just a bad recipe,
and you
man.
can feel it,
yeah,
too.
You can see it, you can feel it. You can't really, you can't get away from it. I mean, it kind of swallowed Purdue up in that moment. I mean, you could see that they were ready to get out of there. I mean, they were just kind of like, let's let's get out of here, man. This is not going to end well, and it did not for the Boilermakers. So
Poor Drew Brees over there just wearing it on the chin.
was he there?
Yeah.
Yes.
your favorite.
I'm sure he's sitting front and center, huh?
Oh, yeah, courtside.
I'm sure.
Just surprised he didn't want to coach.
Yeah, right.
Let my sons get a shot.
So this weekend's schedule will be fun, man. Sweet 16 action obviously set up for this weekend's action, and another great slate of games, man. You got Alabama and San Diego State. San Diego State's a bunch of bullies. I mean, if you've seen their team, they are intimidating getting off the bus, man. I mean, they will shove you around. Houston plays Miami. That'll be another Friday matchup. Then you've got UCLA going to be taking on Gonzaga after Gonzaga beats TCU last night. By the way, TCU-Gonzaga ending may be the worst of all bad beats. We saw Texas A&M Corpus Christi was down by 24, and the spread was 23.5 with Alabama favored. They were trying to dribble the ball out at the end of the game.
Coach is telling him not to shoot.
The coach is telling him to pull it back. One of the players goes and literally steals the ball from his teammate.
Let me get that.
Dribbles it. One of the great videos I've ever seen.
Yes.
There's some video that surfaced that me and Stewie played last week where the guy is like, what is he doing? What is he doing?
He knows the
He knows the spread. He knows the spread. Don't let him shoot. I mean, it is just unreal. Step back. Boom.
Got
Hits
him.
it.
The coach is just like, I've told you to dribble it out. He's over there going, don't do anything.
To spread bust it. And then last night, TCU Gonzaga. Gonzaga is up 6. Gonzaga is up
it's
6.
it's a 4.5 point
and it's
spread.
a 4.5 point spread. And Gonzaga has just gone up 6. TCU gets the ball out of the net, inbounds it. This guy takes about 4 dribbles, crosses half court, pulls up, and just Steph Curry splashes one. Doesn't even hit the rim and busts the spread wide open.
Doesn't mean a
it is
thing.
one of the all-time just brutal beats of betting. You could hear the crowd even as the ball went ooh, that sucks.
That means something to somebody.
Yeah, right.
What makes it worse is he let it roll. He let it roll all the way past half court, picked it up and just
And if you're gambling on that game and you're watching him do that, he's gonna
Defend him.
Yeah, he's gonna try to take a shot.
Put a hand in his face.
Yes, foul him.
Pick the ball up.
But the funniest thing about that is the reaction videos you're getting from people. Everybody gambles on March Madness.
I'm watching one right now in Circle Sports in Vegas, and it's a couple people just excited, and one guy just gets up and he's like, "I hate it here.
I'm done.
I'm done. Just lost all my money."
When LSU, who they played? They beat Maryland at the buzzer. LSU when they went to the Tremont Waters.
Yeah.
What year was that?
Yeah. Was that 20?
21, 20.
No.
It was. I
was
was
the first year. So, it was the first tournament team. So it was 2019?
18.
Maybe 18.
I think it was 18
Maybe
because
18.
football wasn't very we
Yeah.
weren't there yet. But we were in, so we went to a bachelor party in Las Vegas. We rented out a place in the sports book.
Oof.
And whenever you're there, it's not the same as watching games where people are actually actively rooting for teams or have a vested interest, like you're in the arena. It's these people that are all gambling. Everybody there has a ticket, and they don't know, they don't know which team to root. They don't know anybody on either team. They're just literally playing the number. And we go in there as all LSU fans, and everybody had a ticket on Maryland, it felt like, because after that happened, of course, all 15 of us stand up, and we just wanted to see us win. We obviously all bet LSU money line. We were in the game, but to hear the room just be divided, people look at you like you killed their sister if you have the wrong ticket. They're just like, what? Hey, I'm not causing any trouble here. We don't have a rivalry. I don't know anything about Maryland. But they're like, I don't know anything about LSU. I just picked the number. And that's what March does. It just gives you so much intrigue on things that you would never be invested in. It's so much fun to be a part of it. The people are dying.
I'm just watching
losing
people.
tickets.
I'm just watching this dude. He's sitting at the bar, watching as it happens, and he jumps out of his seat.
Yeah, it'll change your day.
Just so upsetting.
It's just there's nothing better. There's nothing better than March.
There really isn't, man. There really. I mean, and specifically that weekend of March.
This is right before he hits the shot. See the shot's about to happen to the back.
I mean, everybody has an interest in it because everybody's got a little action on something. It's the best.
That is so good, man. So Florida Atlantic was the team that tried to dunk it at the end of the game.
Yep.
And that would have been the over?
Yeah,
Yep.
that would have cashed the over. He tried to.
my
He
God.
He tried to like 360.
He tried to do the
Windmill.
Zion dunk. He clangs it off the back, and he immediately just hits the handshake line. He's like, didn't happen.
The first video I saw about that, the guy was like, "You got to make that, right?" Like,
You gotta flush it.
You got to make that, man.
It's unbelievable. You just watch, you're like, oh, God, I have the over. Like, all right, put it in.
Yeah.
Oh, never mind.
Yeah.
Rip that ticket up.
over did not hit.
When did the game start again for the Sweet 16?
Thursday.
Thursday?
Yeah.
Little break.
Good slate. Thursday. So the Thursday slate is Michigan State, Kansas State, Arkansas, UConn, which is going to be a fantastic game. Florida Atlantic, Tennessee, Gonzaga, UCLA at 9:45. That'll be the or 8:45 Central Time. And then Friday's slate, San Diego State and Alabama. Alabama, I'm telling you, look out. They got their hands full in this one, man. San Diego State is big and long. Miami is very athletic as well. Houston is going to be in a scrap with Miami Friday afternoon. Then Princeton and Creighton begin kind of the night sequence before Xavier and Texas are the final act there of the Sweet 16 before getting cut down to the Elite Eight. So it's going to be another epic season or weekend of college basketball. As I thought, opening weekend was awesome, man. I mean, just as March can be, right? And when you look at the conferences, success by conferences this weekend, we were talking a lot about the Big Ten, and the Big Ten was cracked up all season, right? When we were talking about basketball and we were talking about the Big Ten and what they had, and Purdue obviously was the headliner there. Only one team from the Big Ten making it out of opening weekend, and that is Michigan State. Who had the most teams as far as the Power 5 conferences are concerned? SEC. Southeastern Conference with 3 teams still alive in Alabama, Arkansas, and Tennessee. Non-Power 5 conferences that tied that output, Big East, as Creighton, UConn, and Xavier still alive as far as that is concerned. But SEC leading the conferences as far as Power 5 teams still alive in March. Big 12 with 2 with Kansas State and Texas. Big 10, as we said, Michigan State. ACC with Miami. Pac-12 with UCLA. American with Houston. Conference USA with Florida Atlantic. The Ivy League with Princeton. Mountain West with San Diego State. And the Western Conference, the West Coast Conference with Gonzaga. So a nice weekend for the Southeastern Conference in both sides, both women's and men's, as teams surviving and advancing here in exactly what it's all about at this part of the season and this part of the schedule. Doug Thompson is going to stop by next here. We're going to talk some college baseball with Dougie as LSU baseball takes care of business. They are now home, will take on Arkansas on Friday for the first of the 3-game set. Central Arkansas will be in town. Doug will be on the call. We'll ask him about it next here, coming up on the Jordy Culotta Show.
Hey Baton Rouge, when traveling through Natchez, Mississippi, whether you need to fill up your vehicle or your belly, stop by Go-Mart and On The Go Deli. Go-Mart has clean restrooms, community coffee, an awesome beer cave, and a great selection of anything you might need on your trip. So stop by Go-Mart at 4 Sergeant Prentice Drive as you're entering Natchez on the left, and visit Tom and Wright Granning and their awesome team at Go-Mart.
Are you looking for sound financial advice? Then get in touch with Daniel Newman of Edward Jones. You can call him today at 225-261-8262 or email him daniel.newman@edwardjones.com. If you're planning for retirement, saving for college for children or grandchildren, or just looking for sound investment opportunities, Get in touch with Daniel today, 225-261-8262, located on Magnolia Square Drive in Central. Daniel Newman of Edward Jones.
Don't let the name fool you. Men's Total Health has offerings for the ladies, too. Guys, is your wife or partner suffering from urinary incontinence, low sexual desire, or pain during sex? Then the O-Shot might be for her. Don't let it scare you. It's totally natural. It's PRP. And Mike Roach and the crew at Men's Total Health will make you as comfortable as you can be. Contact me for more information, Katie at JordyCulottaShow.com, and I'm happy to tell you everything that Men's Total Health has to offer for the ladies.
Fourier Insurance Agency, established in 1946, locally can help you with any of your home, auto, commercial, contractors, life and health insurance today. Give them a call, 225-383-0682, or log online to FourierAgency.com.
Hey, she's on her way up.
Hey, G, I got you something.
Hey, Coach. What do you think? Is this too much?
If you look good, you play good.
All right, then. Let's get it done.
All right, welcome back here to the Jordy Culotta Show, as we are brought to you by RMB Builders. Remember our friends Rhett Bourgeois and the crew over at RMB Builders. Some early spreads for the games coming out. Alabama favored by 7.5 over San Diego State. Tennessee favored by minus 5.5 over Florida Atlantic, and Arkansas UConn. 3.5 point spread there. We'll talk more about college basketball, but next we'll get back to baseball as the LSU team traveled for the first weekend of conference play. They went over to College Station, took 2 or 3 from the Aggies. They fell yesterday as Texas A&M rallied in the 8th to take the lead, and LSU just couldn't get it back before traveling home to Baton Rouge. But a lot of impressive baseball played. Here to help us break it down is from the LSU Sports Radio Network. A consistent guest with us each week is Doug Thompson, former standout for the program. Dougie, good morning. How are you?
Good morning, guys. How you doing today?
Doing good. How about that shot Jared Jones hit on Saturday?
Yeah, I mean, this guy, I said the first game of the year, he reminds me a lot of Brad Cressy. But, his stature, his build, there's a lot of young Mark McGuire in there as well. I mean, this guy is massive, and he's got serious pop. How about, a couple of the balls he hit this weekend? The home run was obviously the highlight, but he's as hot as you can get. He leads the team in home runs, and he has quickly made a name for himself around the league.
Dougie, before we talk about all the positives, and there's a ton of positive to get to from the weekend, tell me what you saw yesterday. What happened yesterday? LSU looked like they were in command for a lot of it. They just couldn't close it.
Yeah, baseball happened. Coach Burtman used to tell us all the time. We started out 19-0 or 18-0, I think, in 1997, and he used to tell us all the time, you can't win them all, right? Baseball's just not the sport's just not made that way, right? You're going to have games where some slip from out of your fingertips, and that's what happened yesterday. I love the way that they jumped out on top. But Texas A&M is a very difficult place to play. They got the bubbles, they've got all the weird stuff going on, and they're intense. I mean, they are locked in. It's a great fan base, and that's what happened yesterday. Shores and and Little just gave up a couple hits, and you know, A&M, you got to tip your hat. They got the timely hit when they needed it late in the game to come from behind. But all in all, a 13-game win streak. What an impressive run. They're 16-2, I believe, right now. Or is it 16-2 or 18-2? But just as red hot as they can be, and man, they're doing it in dominating fashion.
18-2 right now, Dougie. Friday night, Paul Skeens again, 11 strikeouts, goes 6 1/3, gives up 4 hits. What did you see about LSU's ace? Dougie, it feels like he's fastly becoming like number 1 pick type discussion.
Yeah, look, don't be surprised at the end of the year if you got Cruz and Skeens at 1 and 2. I mean, that's a strong possibility, I would say. Look, it's going to be hard to replace Ben as the GOAT, right? Here at LSU, he's a legend. A couple hundred strikeouts that year. Nobody's ever done that. He won the Golden Spikes. He was the number 1 pick overall in the draft, and he dominated a lot like Paul Skeens did. But next, right now, Paul Skeens is putting together the best or the second best season in the history of LSU baseball. 5-0. He's got 59 strikeouts and only 4 walks in 30.1 innings pitched. I mean, that is literally off the charts. I mean, you can't throw it any better. He's had double-digit strikeouts in every game, and I just don't see him letting up at any time soon. Like I'm watching for a weakness. I'm watching for the moment where he loses it, but he just doesn't. He's consistent. He goes hard. He's a great competitor, as dominant as you want a Friday night guy to be. Let's just make sure he walks around in a bubble those 4 days in between starts to make sure he's completely healthy. You know, I told you at the beginning of the year, Jay Johnson saying that Paul wouldn't hit much because he's just too valuable. And he also said in the same breath that he would hit 25 home runs if he played every day. So for me, I hadn't seen Skeens at that point throw a significant amount of time. But at the end of the first inning of the first game, I realized what Coach Johnson was saying. He is absolutely too valuable for anything to happen to him. So, man, I don't know what more I can say about the guy. He is as dominant can be. He's one of the best that we've seen in purple and gold.
Doug, but besides the obvious, the stature, the strength, the size of Skeens, what is it about him? I mean, from pitcher to pitcher, what makes him so dominant right now?
Well, his 4-seamer is 98 to 100 miles an hour. When he gets 0-2, he misses 1.5 inches, 2 inches off the plate on purpose. His 2-seamer, which I think personally is his best pitch, is 94 to 96. It'll touch 97 miles an hour. He's got a changeup and a wipeout slider. So that's what's happening. He just has major league stuff. And I'm not talking about just that 100-mile-an-hour fastball. I'm saying that all 4 of his pitches are major league ready pitches. Right now, I think that Paul Skeens could be in the starting 5 rotation for 20 of the big league teams, if not more. Today, right now, not after a couple years in the minor leagues. I think right now that plays at the major league level.
So essentially, I mean, LSU's got 2 big leaguers on their roster right now in Cruz and Skeens. Right?
Yeah, you're right, because, you know, if Dylan Cruz goes out after high school and he's in his this is his 3rd year of the minor leagues, man, I'm betting a lot of money that he'd be in big league camp and break with the team this year. So yes, I think this is about as close as we've ever seen to 2 kids that are major league ready or dang close out there playing for LSU, and we're lucky to have them both.
Tell me what you saw from Floyd and Hurd.
I love Ty Floyd. I love Thatcher Hurd. I think he's a strike thrower, and he's gonna. I think those 2 guys are plenty good enough to win a bunch of games this year. I want to say, you know, both of them, you know, have also been very difficult to hit. You know, 95-mile-an-hour fastballs from Ty Floyd. You got Garrett Edwards also coming out of the bullpen with mid-90s fastballs. And Thatcher Hurd's a strike thrower. And I think those guys are going to compete well. I think they complement Skeens well. And that's a great 1-2-3. You know, this weekend we saw Shores and Little come out of the bullpen, give up a couple hits. But again, those guys are extremely valuable. They're going to be a big part of this team. You know, the one takeaway for me, I believe Little had a walk or 2 in that 9th inning.
Right. Yep.
or the 8th inning. You see, at the end of the game, whoever that guy is that comes in to fill that closer role, quote unquote, it's a must. He has to throw strikes. You can outs in the last inning are like golden eggs. They're very difficult to come by, and when you walk them, especially toward the end of the game, it seems like those guys come around to score more often than not. So, other than that, though. I mean, it was a spectacular weekend. They went on the road. They won 2 out of 3. They had the third game really wrapped up. But I'm excited. Look, we got Arkansas coming to town this weekend. These guys are on a 13-game win streak. They're hitting 320-ish or 310 as a team. LSU, by the way, is hitting 330 as a team. Just to put that in, just to give you some perspective there, the 2000 team hit 340 as a team to win the national championship. But I mean, I personally think that this weekend, the 2 hottest teams in baseball are going to be right here in Baton Rouge, going after each other. I mean, Arkansas is 16-2. They sweep Auburn, again, a 13-game win streak. They've pitched really well. They've hit really well, very similar to LSU. But I really like the Tigers here at the box, and I love Skeens on Friday night.
Dougie, we saw Neal take one to the back on Saturday, a pitch right to the middle of his back, and he came out of the game. Milazzo comes in, finishes, and then Neal back into the lineup on Sunday. With the depth that they have at catcher, did that surprise you to see Neal going back to back like that?
No, not at all. Not at all. Neal can swing it. Like he's a real hitter. When you look at stat sheets, Jordy, you very rarely see a batter with more walks than strikeouts. And Brady Neal is a freshman. I think right now he's at 18 walks and 15 strikeouts. By the way, Dylan Cruz is at 22 walks and 10 strikeouts, which is unheard of. But when you see that, right, that guy's got an idea what he's doing. That guy's not scared to get deep in counts. He can let the ball travel. He has confidence enough to take that first pitch, the pitcher's pitch on the outside black, tip his hat, and stay in the at-bat. Brady Neal can swing it. So it doesn't surprise me at all to see him go back. And what a great spot to be in, though, if you're Jay Johnson. If Brady Neal gets banged up a little bit, you got a guy like Alex Milazzo to go to, who's an all-SEC defensive-type catcher. And by the way, he's been swinging a little bit, too, in his opportunities that he's had.
I agree. Yeah, it's good to see the way that he's taking advantage. Paxton Kling, we've seen Jay Johnson have a pretty quick hook because of just the talent that he's had on the bench. He looks like he wants to stick with the freshman.
Yeah, I mean, he may be the best athlete on the field. Right around 6'2", runs like a deer. He's shown us that he's got some serious pop. He can really defend well. I've heard that name all the way since the fall from parents of players that I know telling me, watch out for this freshman. And they're spot on. He can really play. I want to say he had a slower weekend this weekend in Arkansas. Of course, I didn't see the Sunday game, but I did pay attention to the first 2 nights. But, I think he's a guy. I think he'll be in that lineup for a while. And he's going to be one of the tough ones to get out of the lineup because he's going to get plenty of opportunities. But this guy is could possibly be Dylan Cruz 2.0 by the time he's a junior. He might not have the freshman and sophomore season that Cruz had. But he certainly has that type of potential in terms of hitting for power, defending well, being a 5-tool guy. So I'm excited about Paxton Kling. He's fun to watch. And like I said, man, he may be the best athlete in the dugout.
Stephen Miller says, can't let the interview go without talking about Tommy White's continued ability to hit with 2 strikes and just how little he strikes out. What have you made of Tommy Tanks and his plate discipline?
I tell you what, how many times have we seen over the years a guy come to LSU, highly touted, a big recruit. We think he's going to be, the next Ben McDonald or Todd Walker. And then it doesn't just quite work out like that. That happens much more than what we've seen with Tommy White, where we get this guy in here. He hits all the home runs. He's supposed to hit home runs. He's going to be a great addition. And for me, I was like, okay, well, he did it at NC State. Let's see if he can do it here. And boy, I'm excited to see what we've seen. He lets the ball travel. Again, he's one of those guys not scared to get deep in the count. He trusts himself, and he's able to let the ball get there late in the count. He just lets it get on him. He fouls it off until that pitcher makes a mistake. And when he does, this kid doesn't miss him. He's able to hit the ball out to right field. He's got power to all fields, and he is a bona fide 4-hole hitter. He looks the part, and he's certainly swinging it like a 4-hole hitter right now. But what a great lineup! I mean, look, this has a chance, right? We're about 40%, 35% through the season, and so far, this team is right up there with the greatest of all time at LSU. They're very similar in a lot of ways to those 6 national championship teams.
Dougie, you said it. Arkansas and LSU are probably the 2 hottest teams in the conference, and they'll square off this weekend at the box, and I anticipate that it'll be an incredible atmosphere. Was it surprising for you to see Tennessee swept an opponent that'll be here in 2 weekends?
Very much so surprised to see Missouri sweep Tennessee. Kind of makes you think. Tennessee's also dropped a couple other games to some non-conference teams. So kind of makes you think what's going on over there in Knoxville. Are they the same team they were last year, or do they have some key losses that have made them a little bit more penetrable? Because last year, I mean, they were as good as any team in the history of college baseball. I think they only lost 3 games, right, going in the Super Regional. So things are a little bit different this year, but boy, am I looking forward to Tennessee being at the box. What is that, a couple weeks from now?
Yes, 2 weeks, not this weekend, but next. Tennessee will be in town. And then LSU goes to South Carolina. I mean, that's one of the series we hadn't talked about here. To start conference play, LSU is going to Texas A&M, hosting Arkansas and Tennessee, and then traveling to South Carolina. You will know through the first 5 weeks of the season where LSU stands for sure. We
will all know where we are and where we look like we're going to be in the SEC. That it doesn't get much tougher than that in your first 4 SEC weekends. We'll see how they come out.
Dougie, how'd the boys do this weekend?
Only one played. My middle, I was in Lafayette last night, getting home about 11:30, 12 o'clock. We were runners-up. Long weekend. We learned a lot. We had a lot of fun.
Still early on. Don't count them out.
Get to see every inning, or did you?
Oh, yeah. Dougie's calling pitches.
Sometimes he gets himself in trouble, gets himself ejected.
That's
Doug. The old Doug. That's
right. We're turning over a new leaf. I've done the same since I've been married, Doug. That has been a point of contention.
Who saw?
Early in the marriage, so I'm going to change my ways in how I watch Little League and
I'll believe it when I see it. Yeah. I'll believe it when I see
it. Same goes for you, new Doug. Talk to you next week, buddy.
I'd love y'all. See you later.
All right, man.
Later, brother.
There is Dougie Thompson. Katie is here. We'll reset. We'll be right back with more of the show right after this.
Donaldsonville Glass and Body, the trusted name in frame, body, and automotive paint repair since 1977. They have served their customers for over 45 years. You can find them online at dgbauto.com or stop in and see them Railroad Avenue and Division Street out in Donaldsonville, Louisiana. Look, they can help you with your insurance claims. They can make the repair process as stress-free as possible. I'm speaking from experience here. I've got numerous windshields, body repair, all done by Kenny and the crew over at Donaldsonville Glass and Body. They are, without question, the most well-equipped shop in the area. Stop in and see them today. Shop them online, dgbauto.com, or stop in and see the crew over in Division Street in Donaldsonville, Louisiana. Donaldsonville Glass and Body. Hey fellas, it's Jordy Culotta for my friends over at Men's Total Health. Guys, do you suffer from fatigue, decreased libido, erectile dysfunction, weight gain or loss of muscle mass, signs of depression, anxiety, hair loss, mental fog, general loss of interest? Then you might be suffering from low testosterone. Go see my friend Mike Roach and his great team over at Men's Total Health, over in Metairie at menstotalhealth.net online. And stop in and see how they can change your life today. A simple shot and some knowledge from Mike Roach can get you back up, moving with your energy, get your sex drive back, build your muscle mass, make you feel young again. All online, menstotalhealth.net.
Red Stick Sports, a local staple in Baton Rouge to all sports fans, was founded back in 1981 and has remained a family business for over 40 years. Today, they still have the great selection on the floor, but they're also a leader in custom apparel for businesses, sports teams, and other groups. Take it from us, everybody over here at FM Digital Media. They help us out with all of our apparel. Let them help you out today. Go ask for Cody over at Red Stick Sports. Check him out online at redsticksports.biz.
The Jordy Culotta Show is brought to you by A-Bears Lawn Maintenance. Commercial or residential, A-Bears Lawn Maintenance is ready to work. A-Bears can tackle all your homeowners association requirements. Call Blake at 225-485-8022. A-Bears Lawn Maintenance.
Get Gordon and get it done. Get Gordon and get it done. Corrects done. Personal injury done. Workers' comp done. Truck wrecks done. Get Gordon and get it done. Get Gordon and get it done.
Golly, man. All right, welcome back here to the Jordy Culotta Show live on this Monday morning. Make sure and hit that like button, share button, comment button if you don't mind, as we have a full crew here. Katie is here back in studio with us. Lloyd here. Stewie here for the second hour as we talked all about the field of 64 being cut down to 16 after the opening weekend in conference play. LSU baseball taking 2 of 3 from Texas A&M over the weekend. We talked about that with Doug Thompson. We appreciate Dougie for stopping by here on Monday morning, giving us a recap on that. And then LSU women yesterday inside of the Maravich Center, inside of a raucous home crowd yesterday afternoon, dismantles Michigan to advance to the Sweet 16. Angel Reese yesterday had 25 points, 24 boards as the All-American led the way for LSU. That's her 30th double-double of the season, as it was the 6th time that she has gone over 20 and 20. She broke the LSU record for rebounds in an NCAA tournament game, which was held by Sylvia Fowles, who had 20 against Tennessee in 2008 in the Final Four, actually. But Angel Reese last night, watching her play again in person, it's so incredible the way she's able to rebound, the way she's able to use her body, the way she's able to athletically just kind of tip the ball to herself, a lot like Dennis Rodman was back in the day. If you watched The Last Dance with the Chicago Bulls, or if you're old enough to remember the way that Rodman played, I mean, that was kind of the way that he would out rebound
Make us
people.
hay.
I mean,
Yeah.
he would just kind of, he was able to bounce, to jump 2-3 times, as fast and explosive as he could the first time, and he would just jump over people and tip the ball to himself and grab it. And that's kind of what Angel Reese does when she's, usually the person that's guarding her or responsible for blocking her out is usually in good position, or at least last night they were. And Reese would just tip the ball to herself. She would use her length, her athleticism to, create space and grab the rebound. She's so impressive to watch. And, I know we've watched her on television a ton, but she's one of those athletes that when you see in person and you watch up close, it's even a little bit more, there's more of the wow factor to it than TV can provide. First off, you get an idea. you may lose sense in TV just how big she is. I mean, when she decides to kind of like play big, when she gets long and spreads out, I mean, like, you're like, damn. I mean, she's a problem for people in the way that she's able to take away drive lanes, pass lanes. I mean, she swats shots from all different types of angles on people. And, you know, obviously her best part of her game is the way that she rebounds.
She's dominant.
I mean, she is as dominant of a rebounder as LSU's ever had. Shaquille O'Neal, Sylvia Fowles, Tyrus Thomas, Glenn Davis, name one. I mean, Jordan Mickey. I mean, they have had some just
Parker
great
Edwards.
players come through here that could do that specific role. None better than Angel Reese.
How'd she get the bloody lip in the very beginning?
I think she caught an elbow.
Caught an elbow.
How that happened?
Yeah,
Man,
I
I
think she
mean,
caught
it
an
was
elbow.
bleeding a lot. Like, and they just had it right there on TV
Yeah,
for everybody to see.
Yeah, Jordy's like, they didn't even stop the game, really.
And like she was
No.
like looking at the official. She was
Yeah.
like telling the official, like, and you could see she was like trying to catch. And it was actually a great job on her for not getting it on her jersey.
I know.
Because
It
if
was
she'd
a
have got it
That's a
on her
huge deal.
jersey on the shorts, I
Gotta
mean,
come out
like,
the game.
She might have missed a half.
Get the peroxide.
I know, and it kept going.
Get
But
a squirt bottle.
She did a great job of staying clean as she could because I mean there was blood everywhere.
Yeah.
If LSU continues to make this run, obviously Sweet 16 feels like an accomplishment. Kim Mulkey even said, look, we've won more game than we won last year. Like, that's an accomplishment. It's not a championship, but it feels good to get to
Mulkey's
the
a
Sweet
great
16.
politician.
She is. 800. That was her 800th game as a coach. But don't you feel like you need to see at least one other person step up? It can't be
Yeah.
the Angel Reese show every time.
No, I mean I think that, you know, I mean you're getting to the part of the schedule and to the part where I mean like there's going to be like specific game plans like to try and like just shut her down. I mean, who's going to give up 20 rebounds against her in a loss now? I mean, like if you do that, it's on you, right? I mean, like you got to tell somebody when the shot goes up, two people find her and move her out of
We
the way.
need 3 bodies on
Like
her.
just get her out of the way.
I mean, she had more offensive rebounds than defensive rebounds. It's absurd.
She had 10 in the first quarter.
She had 14. Yeah, 14 on the offensive side, 10 on the defensive side, 24 points, 25 points. I'm sorry, 24 rebounds. But if they're gonna, I guess, win a championship, you need to see at least maybe Alexis Morris step up. The next leading scorer was Alexis Morris with 11 points. Like that's not really sustainable, right?
And look, I thought that they were taking good shots last night. Flaugier had some good looks.
Mm-hmm. That three that she banged was
Alexis
awesome.
Morris had good looks. You know, I mean, I think that those are looks that they'll consistently knock down.
And LaDasia Williams.
Yeah.
She had a double-double also.
Yeah, she played well.
She hit the back-to-back threes to kind of what was like an 11-0 run for LSU.
Yeah.
That's what really kind of separated the team. But it's just in my mind, it's hard to see this being sustainable shooting 35%. That's not a number that you would expect to win, especially win by double digits. I don't know if I'm looking at it the right way, but it feels like you would hope to get a little bit more offensively than what you've gotten, just percentage-wise.
Oh, yeah, you got to. You know, I mean, you got to get something more offensively to.
Because Alexis Morris can get her own shot. She's probably the other one that I would look at that anytime you need a bucket.
Yeah, that would be the one that you need to step up right now. I mean, she's the one that becomes, you know, she'll be playing one-on-one because Angel Reese will be receiving, you know, double team, maybe even more in certain situations coming down the stretch here. So, I mean, I would look at Alexis Morris of being, you know, kind of the odds-on candidate to be the one that steps up. You know, the one that really could, you know, make an impact, especially where they need it. They need it in scoring. You know, I mean, she had some good looks. She also had some opportunities to get to the basket last night, and you know, where she was a little bit less aggressive than, you know, you're used to watching her play. There was a 3-on-1 break at one point where the ball was kind of being kicked around and it kind of spit out of there, and Alexis Morris scooped it up, and she had opportunity, I thought, to get to the rim, and it looked like Kim Mulkey did too, because she pulled up from about 15 feet right at the free throw line, and she back ironed one, which led to a long rebound for Michigan and a bucket, and Mulkey went absolutely postal on the sideline. I mean, where she does the kind of like throws her arms up into the air and kind of yells. out into the sky, kind of nobody. But then she turned around and looked at Alexis Morris, because I guess Alexis Morris saw the reaction out of the corner of her eye, and she just lit her up in the sense of, but she told her, like, get to the rim, like, take the ball to the rim. You could see that she was telling her, and then Alexis came down and hit a couple of shots. But, I think that's the difference maker that LSU needs to step up on both sides of the ball, both offensively and defensively. Alexis Morris is going to have to, guard the primary ball handler for the other team, but she's also going to have to be a shot maker for LSU. She's going to have to be somebody that LSU can count on to knock down shots, because they've got open looks, right? And I think Flauger's still growing up. She's still got some things as far as some freshman speed bumps that she's got to cross over, and, she's tremendous. Mm-hmm. And as far as her, athleticism and her IQ and the matchup ability that she has, both of creating a tough matchup and, taking away a tough matchup, right? Where she can guard a tough player, and, she's a tough player to guard. But, in the offseason, when she, puts up so many jumpers a day, where she starts knocking down that mid-range and that three-pointer with consistency, and you got to really step out there and guard her, and then she can put the ball on the wood and get to the rim, because I thought that's where she looks most comfortable. In the second half, she caught a ball in front of LSU's bench in the corner where she swept it back into the defense and attacked into the paint with her left hand, got fouled in the process, and that's where she looked like really, really comfortable. I mean, like, even on some of those wide open shots, she kind of looked a little tight, where she'd rather take a couple of dribbles in and see if she can't get something at the rack, which, at this point, go ahead. But, in the offseason, it's evident what she needs to work on, because she's a really, really good player. And if she can start knocking down that shot,
that's the difference maker.
Man.
Because she's got that little midi game. She's got mid-range shooter.
Such a tough matchup.
Yeah, because she can take you off the dribble.
All day.
She's impressive.
All day. You put her alongside Michaela Williams next year, who's coming in, who's, out of North Louisiana, who's the number 1, number 2 recruit in the country. If Angel Reese comes back, which you expect, you kind of expect she will, and you got Flauger coming back for another season. You're talking about offensively some threats that everybody has to pay attention to. And if Flauger can start knocking down that jumper and that three-pointer where she pulls the defense out, she could have her way. Really, she could average 18 to 22 a night, really. If she starts to develop a jumper, and because she can, when defenses press up on her, she can get to the rim anytime she wants. She's so athletic, and her ball handling is really advanced.
It seems like she wants to take a backseat a little bit, though, just because she is a freshman.
I think she's comfortable kind of where she is.
Yeah.
I think
third kind of like role player-ish, but if she gets hot, she can take over a game.
She's still got another
step,
level or two of development before she's a real high-end, lead you player.
We'll see that in 2 years.
Win the game, absolutely.
And that's what a lot of people in the chat are asking. Is there a chance that Angel Reese does go pro? I don't know. Obviously, it's different from the NBA, the WNBA. I don't know the salary sides.
It's not. It's just the money.
Money-wise.
The money's different.
Right.
But when you look at Angel Reese, you're looking at a very marketable person. So, the way that the WNBA players make money is by, being able to get endorsements. If they can pick up outside sponsorship. I'd imagine that Angel Reese would get a shoe deal.
Right.
I would imagine that Angel Reese would be able to pick up a couple of, spokesman and endorsement type, monies that would make it lucrative for her. I also believe that Kim Mulkey has enough connection in this town now where she can get an NIL deal put together for Angel Reese for the next 2 years and make it very, very easy a decision for her to stay.
Yeah.
All the while probably playing for the number 1 team in the country and being a favorite to win the national championship, and you, Angel Reese, being the best player on that team.
In the sport.
Right. You're going to be, she'll be on the cover of Sports Illustrated.
She's already on the cover of Slam magazine.
Right.
So that's what I think is interesting is in the land of NIL, it almost makes college basketball, especially at this time of the year, almost seems more popular than the WNBA. Like, you could make an argument that it's more lucrative for her to stay here and be a frontline kind of face of the sport in college basketball than it is to just go to the WNBA, because you kind of get stuck in the land of the lost a little bit whenever it's March, women's college basketball. You get put at the forefront, especially when you have somebody as polarizing as Kim Mulkey as your head coach.
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, I would argue. I mean, I could argue that you know more players in college basketball than you do in the WNBA.
Yeah,
I do.
I feel like I do too.
And
Maya Moore still playing?
That kind of goes into it.
Did something happen with Kim's outfit? Did somebody come at her for her queen shirt the other day? Because she had to defend it.
Oh, I don't know.
Y'all didn't see that? She talked about when she had, what did her shirt say? Queen
Kiss me, I'm a queen?
Yeah. And she was like, this doesn't mean I'm a queen. The brand is Queen of Sparkles. This is St. Patrick's Day. Do y'all not know what day it is? Like, she was really having to defend it. So I was wondering, like, who went at her about her outfit yet again. I have some thoughts on probably the group it could have been.
Oh. Oh, yeah, you got yourself in the middle of that. You're part of the controversy.
Not this time. I didn't say a word this time.
I'm proud of you, Katie.
Wait, well, what happened?
Noah sent that tweet, remember?
About Dawn Staley wearing another jersey?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, they
they
decided to tag us again. I love.
There's
how
a
they
reason
watch the
why
show.
she was wearing that one though.
Yeah, there is.
It's like the school that she was wearing. It's a school in Philadelphia, and it was their first time.
I get all of
tournament
that. Like, I think that everybody has a story from their hometown that's nostalgic.
Well, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, everybody's got a story that means a lot to them. A lot of people are fans of other sports where those teams are having success. And again, this is just my preference. I mean, if South Carolina's got no qualms with it, then cool. But we're not the only ones commenting that it is weird and strange for another school's coach to wear another team's jersey. That's it. You know, I mean, nobody's saying that Dawn Staley can't coach. Nobody's saying that, because of who she is, because of what it's weird.
Yeah.
It's strange.
It's just our opinion. That's all we were ever saying.
Well, I mean, it's not only ours. Look around. A lot of other people think that it's kind of weird too that another sitting coach of a university that is paying them to, you're marketing that brand. You know what I mean? Like, when you're on our clock, you know what I mean? We're the ones, cut the check. Can we not promote somebody else? It's just would be the argument. You can wear whatever you want. You know what I mean? Just maybe not a Philadelphia Eagles jersey.
Maybe not the full uniform.
Maybe not another team's jersey.
So this, what Dawn wore is honoring Cheney State on the sideline. Cheney State played in the first NCAA Women's National Championship in 1982, coached by legendary C. Vivian Stringer. Only HBCU to appear in the NCAA Final Four title game. So that was the shout out. She's just using her platform.
No doubt.
Yeah.
Nothing wrong with it.
Fine. She's a great coach. Wonderful coach. We've never said anything else about her besides that.
Is the only way that they match up? Do you know how the bracket looks? Where it would be is it a championship only? Aren't they on the other side?
I think they are on the other side.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I saw where
that would be electric.
Number one got bounced yesterday. Stanford
by Ole Miss. Mincy goes nuts.
Yeah, that was wild. What an upset.
What an upset.
But their national championship baseball team got swept by Vanderbilt this weekend. So I don't know if anybody realized that.
And what's going on with Mississippi State?
Oh my God.
Yeah, what's up?
I mean, like,
swept Kentucky?
How are they that bad?
I don't know.
2 years after a natty?
I don't know. Everybody's calling for like a staff rearrangement and all kinds of stuff.
I was just watching
because this is the year where you're truly judged.
They're young. I mean, I'll say that.
Okay.
Like, there's a ton of
last
freshmen.
year they should have been young.
Yes.
Like the year after the natty.
I know.
You can get away with we're young.
Exactly.
Because the national championship team was all seniors, right?
Yeah.
It was like all a bunch of older guys,
Mhm.
which is so. I've bought myself a little bit of grace.
I know.
Right? So, I mean, next year I know that, hey, we got to take this national
Yeah.
championship and recruit the hell off of it.
Exactly.
Get a lot of good players.
You
So
would think.
2 years from now, we should be back.
Yeah.
It's still early.
Pretty disappointing. It is.
Still
but
very,
I mean,
very
that was a tough
early.
weekend.
But I mean, like.
First SEC weekend, Kentucky.
And not even that. The way they performed in the non-conference has been very underwhelming.
I know. I know.
I mean, I'm not trying to pile on.
No.
I'm really not. I mean, I'm just saying. Like, I mean, this is kind of LSU football in 2022.
I agree
That's
with you.
exactly what I was thinking.
You're like,
Yeah.
how in the hell are you this bad? You were the best team in the world
Yeah.
2 years ago.
It's
you know
strange.
what I mean? But then you
I
start
agree with
digging in, and you're like, Okay, now I see. Now I see what's going on here.
What's going on here?
Right. I mean, this thing's being used as a social network for a football program. I mean, this thing is this is kind of like a conversation starter.
Yeah.
It's a boys' club over here.
Yeah, right.
It's a fraternity.
You like the Tigers? Let me give you a tour of the locker room. Hit those lights, baby.
Bring your daughter.
Yeah, he can practice. What size gloves does he wear?
Hit the pads.
Yeah, it's tough.
But I mean,
But
it is alarming.
It is alarming.
Because Mississippi State is as good of a job as LSU is.
Yeah, they are a baseball school.
You know, I mean,
Really.
like you could, if there was one school that I would say, you could say, hey, look, I mean, you know, disregarding the Natties, but I mean, just the lore of
Right.
it.
Yeah, they put
mean,
it on the map.
Damn,
They
man.
started it all.
Damn.
I'm so happy for you when they won.
Katie, is it true that they started the kid that throws both hands like Friday and Saturday? Like he threw.
No, they didn't start
No.
him.
Yes, they
No,
had
they
it.
didn't
They had.
start
He
him
put
both.
up a graphic that
He's their Friday and Saturday guy?
like he pitched
sure?
right-handed Friday and then pitched left-handed Saturday.
That's even more alarming.
Yeah, that is.
I
I didn't
mean,
know he
like, that's
started both.
That's a fireable offense.
Yeah, and he's pretty amazing. Not amazing enough, clearly, but anyway.
I mean, he is a freshman too.
He is a freshman.
The only other team I see that can mess with LSU right now is Florida.
Yeah, Florida's
tough.
What about Vandy?
Yeah.
What about
We don't care
We
about
don't play
that.
him this year.
We don't care about those schoolboys.
LSU doesn't play Vanderbilt this
They
year?
don't play Florida either.
Really?
We'll see him in the SEC tournament.
Yeah, I mean, they'll see him in the tournament.
Yeah.
But Florida's a problem from the front line pitching standpoint, and they got some bats. They got some good.
Well, they've got the Shohei Ohtani guy, like the
yeah.
Florida pitcher.
Jack Caglione.
Yeah, I think he leads the nation in home runs. He has like 15. He already has like 15 jacks this year, so he's able to. You know, it's kind of what you would thought you were going to get with Paul Skeens, but Skeens has been so dominant on the mound. They haven't had to use him as an offensive weapon. But Florida's doing it with Caglione, where they're just like, all right, go throw 100 and then hit 2 jacks for us and win a game. Not a bad problem to have.
South Carolina's pretty good.
Yeah, they are.
They are. That'll be a fun series.
That will be a fun series. I agree. First month of the season, man, you're really going to find out. Like LSU.
And for all the people that thought LSU was going to sweep every series, obviously
Yeah, no
Sunday
doubt, no
you
doubt.
felt like you should have won that game. If you take 2 of 3 every series, that is the goal,
Well, yeah.
especially going away. You're not going to sweep every time. You'd like to get the brooms out, but
Yeah, you can't
if
sweep
you
every
take
time.
if you take 2 of 3 every series, you are going to have a very good season.
No doubt about it. I think the disappointing part about yesterday is just how control you felt like you were in that game.
Mm-hmm.
Like there was, I mean, for 7.5 innings, LSU was. I mean, it was like they were toying with them.
Yeah, they're playing with your food.
And then in the
Tommy
bottom
White
of the
pushed the
eighth,
dude off the base.
Yeah,
right.
got away with it.
I mean, like, and got the call
Yeah.
on the road. I mean, you were thinking like, what's going to stop him today? I mean, Tommy White just bullied this kid on TV
On national
with
TV.
replay. Like, how did that happen?
The umpire's like, by rule, the runner's
right.
out.
Tommy White
Sorry.
throws the ball at the kid's face. Told you, punk.
Get out of here.
Stephen Miller confirmed it. That was just a joke graphic.
Yeah, I think you got done by the internet.
I got duped. It's tough.
Ball
Sorry.
sack
It
sports.
happens, bro.
It was probably ball sack
It
sports.
happens. It happens.
But when even looking at LSU baseball and what they did Sunday, I think the biggest compliment you could see or how dangerous they are is they have 2 outs.
Yeah.
You have Cruz come up, hit a double, Tommy White single. It's like, oh, he just scored another run. Like it can happen that quickly. And I'm interested to see what they do with Kling. If they keep him, every time they put him in the leadoff spot, he struggled. So I expect to see Dugas go back to the leadoff spot and then kind of bury Kling. Maybe not put that much pressure on him this early into an SEC series where freshmen go lead off, play right field, like actually just bat 7th, be part of, kind of get in a little bit more of a groove. I think it was 1 for 15.
Yeah.
So, he's obviously going to play, but I think you don't have to lead him off.
But I mean, as a pitcher, you look up and it's
Oh, there's no breaks in that
Dugas,
lineup.
Morgan, Cruz.
I thought Pearson played
Tommy
pretty good
White.
this weekend.
Pearson played great, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I was happy for it. Did he get hurt?
That I don't know.
I
But,
think he stayed in the game, right?
He did.
yeah, I think that's
He was there till the 9th. But I mean, you put Kling at the bottom of the lineup, it's like,
Yeah,
all right.
You become scary. You really, really scary.
Then I got to throw to Bear Jones.
Bear Jones.
See y'all later.
When he came
That
in
ball he
studio,
turned on.
oh my God, he's a monster. He's a monster of a man. Like he came in.
I mean, I'm telling you. I mean, the picture of him standing next to the third base coach yesterday looks like a joke.
Yeah.
Is it like the
an
Derrick
anime.
Henry picture?
What's
Like
that?
Derrick Henry and Mark Ingram?
Yeah,
What
it
do they
does.
look like?
It looks like the Derrick Henry, Mark Ingram picture. I mean, like Bear's got like his hands on his hips. You know what I mean? Like the coach is like looking up at him, talk. I mean, it looks like a mosquito on a horse's ass. I mean,
and he's supposed to play catcher. Like he's 6'6", 6'7". It's like I'm not squatting back there anymore. He wants to catch too. He said I love playing the position.
How does he not play football?
I think he did in high school, but then I think it became a.
I mean, a football coach you get fired.
He has a 24/7 profile.
Yeah,
like he has a recruiting profile.
I think.
But I mean, the way he hit that baseball, and that's the first time I've heard. And Doug's right. I mean, he's got Mark McGwire vibes.
He looks like him.
He looks just like him. But the way he swings the baseball bat like a toothpick.
Yeah.
I mean it looks almost like a golf club in his hand.
He's massive. And his dad did play college football for Georgia Southern.
Great ass, too.
All ass team.
No, that's Dylan Cruz.
No, his ass is way better.
No,
he's
not way better.
He's the one seed.
Stewie,
he's the one seed.
I was thinking about this as I was looking at Cruz yesterday from a side profile.
Coach,
he's donked up.
Yeah, but Noah sent me Bear's side
Coach,
profile.
look at this
It's good.
ass.
No. Jones is.
Coach, look at this ass.
I'm not saying that he's not a one seed. I'm just saying that Cruz is
sneaky one seed material right there.
No, he's a one seed.
He's next up. He's next ass up. Wait, who was it? You that put it in the group chat that Bill Belichick only looks at ass?
Yes.
It was the Kirby Smart. He likes the big ass. He likes a wide ass.
Ass and ankles.
Linebackers,
not wrong.
Don't overthink it.
Right. You want to be a linebacker, you want to sit behind some ass.
What do you think they thought when they saw Bear Jones for the first time?
Oh, God.
Offer him.
Hey, you, come see.
I mean, you with a curve. Come here.
Your thighs are touching.
Good Lord. No, they're not. Look at that gate.
Got the gap. Mind the gap.
But that ball he hit Saturday was.
I mean, he's hit two of the farthest balls I've seen this year.
It was like the Barry Bonds World Series home run. It was like he hit it out of sight.
Oh, God. Do you remember, was it Mark McGwire in the home run derby at Fenway Park where he hit it over the green monster, out the park, into the parking lot? And everybody's like, we might have to do a little something about these steroids.
I mean,
this is a little obvious.
Temper these down just a little bit.
His eyeballs are popping out of his head.
These things into a different county, man.
This is
But I mean, Bear, bro, the ball that Bear hit on Saturday felt like that. I love the Mark McGwire comparison that Dougie brought up.
And he's got the little goatee, too. He's going for it. He's all in. He's leaning into it.
What was McGuire's height and weight?
Trenbolone.
Well, see, I mean, he was like 6'6", 250 type dude.
Let's see.
6'5", yep. 6'5", 250.
What a monster.
I mean, dude. Your first baseman.
He had just had the steroids in his locker when they were interviewing him.
No doubt.
Like, I didn't know that was a bad thing. I can't have that. It just says anabolic steroids on it.
Take me back to the time, man. Put them all on anabolic steroids.
Well, but I think they've kind of figured it out in college baseball. The offense is up. They have, they've kind of deregulated the bats again to where they're not as extreme as they were. I think after 2009 is when they kind of toned them down, and now they've got the baseball to where it travels a little bit. I mean, every game you look up, you're scoring over 15 runs combined.
I mean, a Bear Jones line drive to your head will kill you.
Oh, absolutely.
It'll kill you.
I'm moving out the way, so.
I don't know if you can.
Yeah.
I mean, really, I don't know if you could react to it.
And who came up with the LSU had bases loaded in the bottom of the top of the ninth? I'm sorry, was it DC? He hit a screamer, just shortstop makes a diving play, and that was the game. But it was, you could feel the pressure was there. LSU was about to squeeze one out, just kind of sneak one by you. But if the thing that LSU has to do, if you wanted, if you wanted the sweep or not, it comes down to what they're going to do in the back end of the bullpen and who they're going to use. Christian Little feels like the answer, but if he's able to locate a little bit better, he's able to throw that slider for strikes. If that's what he's going to do, that's his out pitch. He can throw it at any count, any time, and he has almost two versions of it, like a get me over and then an absolute wipeout slider. So if he's on, that feels like the answer to the end, the back end of your bullpen, because LSU has an embarrassment of riches when it comes to talent. You saw Coop come in, and last year he had to pitch in nearly every game, and you're like, okay, I guess that's the answer. Now they have 3 or 4 guys they have no problem throwing out there. I don't like that they lost, but I'm not. Like I said, if you take 2 or 3 every series, you're going to be in a very good spot come time for a regional, super regional host, and then hopefully it's off to Omaha, where it's about time for LSU to update the Intimidator. It feels time.
Overdue.
Past Past due.
All right, good stuff. We appreciate you being here on this Monday morning. If you don't mind, hit that like button, share button, comment button. Have a good start to your week. We'll be back with you tomorrow morning. LSU spring football practice back in action. We'll be talking about some of the stories.
8 o'clock
there.
again.
What's that?
7:55.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, BK's
I don't know
killing
what's going
us
on
with
there.
this.
Wait, what are y'all talking about?
Practice in the mornings.
Yeah.
7:55.
Yes.
It's like the
time
time
it
that
starts.
they let you in.
Oh.
I think it starts before that. I think they let the media in. Like
Little media
7:50.
viewing period.
Yeah, right.
Smoke your black and mild outside.
Yeah, then get out. Get
That's
out of
right,
here.
that's
Go.
right.
It's not as open as it was last year, I would imagine. Yeah, I mean,
no.
what a
That's
tour de force he did.
That's what 10 wins will do for you.
Yeah, get out. Go.
Y'all got 20 last year. We got 10 minutes for you. That's
right.
it. And you got to go. Hurry up.
These media rules feel more and more like Les Miles now that he's winning.
Yeah. Well, it was smart on his part, right? To be able to ingratiate. Look, we're open. It's going to look
come
different.
see.
This is what it's supposed to look like. Okay, now y'all can go.
Yeah.
See what I'm doing here? We're all good.
It's the famous when they zig, we zag, right? I mean, he was coming from Ogeron at the end had the place. He had the place locked up like Fort Knox. I mean, he wouldn't. They stopped doing media day at LSU under Ogeron. Yeah, they don't even do media day anymore because Ogeron was like, keep them out. But if you remember when Ogeron first started,
it was open.
It was
everything.
all open policy because Les Miles had closed everything off to the world. Him and the media had not gotten along with one another. So Ogeron came and spun a 180 and was like, okay, well, look, y'all just come to practice. We'll leave it open.
Got nothing to hide.
We'll do a press conference every day. I'll be giving you updates. Panamsky will be running the Twitter account if you need anything there.
Get the captions going.
Just update. We'll have everything updated for you there. They go through a couple of meetings with the AD, the defensive coordinator, and the OC. Next thing you know, everything. I mean, you can't even. They don't even have media day anymore. They stopped having to have media guides. I mean, it was like I don't even know what's the purpose.
He did take Jack Bash.
That was a borderline. That made me so nervous.
They'd send Liam Shanahan out of there
every
day.
You're smart, right?
Yeah, you went to Harvard, huh?
Every day.
And he had to answer all the pressing questions.
Every single day, Liam Shanahan.
Shades?
Like, dude, what's going on with the coach and the quarterback?
I don't know, man.
Yeah, look, hey,
I just snap it.
No, man.
I'm just here from Harvard.
Right.
What's trying to go work on Wall Street.
Just a terrible situation. I mean, Shanahan, can you go out there today again? I mean, God.
Use your professional
coach,
voice,
man.
Do you see Jack Bash and Harold Perkins were hanging out this weekend?
Really?
Miami.
Ooh,
Everybody was in Miami.
Yeah, this is spring break.
Well, I saw that the city put a curfew on because they had 2 shootings Saturday.
Did they really?
Everybody accounted for?
I hope everybody's
know.
back.
He's down there
I would
all
think
of it.
everybody made it back now.
Okay.
Yeah,
There are a
practice
lot
tomorrow.
of LSU people down there. I saw
Yeah.
TJ's videos. Lots of LSU people.
Spring break.
Yeah.
That's what me and Stewie were talking
They
about.
don't go to PCB
What
anymore.
happened to
I don't know.
It's
Who
Miami.
the hell do these kids think they are?
I know. That's the thing. I was
Yes.
like, did y'all
How do
all
you get
fly
there?
down there?
That's
Did
what
you
I'm
drive?
saying. How do you afford
Like,
that? Like
Exactly.
PCB
And,
was
like,
a stretch.
What they're doing, like the clubs and where they're staying and all this. I'm like, I
Trying to
mean,
get to
I was in
Orange
like the
Beach,
sleep
bro.
in like Destin and
No
got
doubt.
kicked out of there.
I mean, 3.5 hours door to door. I'm
Yes.
struggling. Like,
Yeah.
I think we can get to Mobile.
Yeah.
Y'all
Spring
got
break
gas
is
money?
real fancy
I mean,
now.
like-
Exactly. That's
Yeah,
what
these
it was like.
this new generation of kids are different.
Yeah,
It's
they're-
wild.
it's
They fly
different.
everywhere.
OnlyFans money.
I was
Yep.
never flying for spring break in college anywhere. I
Katie.
mean, we would drive 6 hours.
Katie, I
if
was
we
in
had to.
college forever, and I didn't take one spring break trip.
Right?
So, yeah,
Oh, you
It's-
got to take
I
one.
mean, not one where you
wild.
flew, hopefully.
No.
like
No, you go to PCB or you go to
Yeah.
Orange Beach.
You don't
That's
go to-
it. It's supposed to.
you don't go to
I don't
fucking
even wanna-
Miami.
I don't want to go to Miami.
Me either.
I want to. I want
know.
to chill and get
because
like
you don't
a,
have the money.
get an
in
MIP on the
college.
beach like a
Act
normal
fake.
kid. Yeah.
yeah,
Like,
Miami's like
I'm not trying to just wait in
a
line.
little too rich for my taste,
Well, I'm going to-
especially like a college kid.
I'm going to Club Live. Like,
I know.
what the hell?
Yeah, right. I'm not trying to come here, man. I'm
Too
trying to go
much.
to Floribama.
Exactly. You can grab a bra.
Good for them though. They look like they're having a blast. So
I mean, I'm sure they are.
yeah,
But I mean,
do it.
Money's not real.
Mm-mm.
Got a
it's
bunch
not
of
a real
crypto.
thing. It's
All
fake.
that NIL money
Yeah.
gets you to Miami.
That's unbelievable. I'm not even talking about the athletes. That I get. You know, you probably have connections somewhere. But like
Yeah.
a 19-year-old kid
I
going
know.
with just in undergrad.
Yeah.
I mean, if you,
Right.
if you are in 21, that doesn't even play, right?
I know.
If you
I'm
are
in South Beach.
yeah.
How?
My mom would look at me like I had 4 heads.
Exactly.
Yeah,
You're
if I
not
told my mom I was going
Exactly.
to South Beach even at 21, she would have been like,
How?
What money?
Yeah, I'm not helping you.
Like, I hope you know I ain't paying for nothing.
Nothing.
I mean,
I
you
don't
ain't
wanna-
got no car.
Yeah, like-
I mean, like, what you gonna do?
Like,
I'm just trying to get home.
yeah, I'm just trying to.
Miami, I would feel so. I'd be like, what am I gonna do now?
I wouldn't even. That's what I'm saying.
I'd fill out a place.
Yeah,
have
for
to-
sure.
And if you're bootstrapping it to Miami, it's not worth it. If
No,
you've got
'cause
long
when you
money,
get to Miami,
everything's $18.
man, you thought the gas was bad.
Yeah, try to get a Red Bull vodka in Club Live.
Oh God.
$25.
Try to get into Club Live.
That's what I'm saying. They're spending half their time, like in the night, in line, just to get in
To stand
Do-
around.
to
and
stand
be
around.
Can
hot.
you
Get in
imagine?
there.
Can
It's
you
worth
imagine
it.
what bar owners are doing this week to kids
Oh,
that are in Miami?
Oh, I
Right.
mean,
Let me see that American Express card, kid.
it's 100 to get in.
Yeah, it's $100 to get in. It's $300 a bottle. It's $500 for the room. You still want it?
Actually, it's 1,200 for the room.
dude, the bottle service is so. It's absurd.
It's insane.
I know how much a fifth of vodka costs. It is
Exactly.
not $500. It's
Yeah, but you
20.
don't get girls bringing it over to you with sparklers shooting out of the bottles
Yeah,
though when you
you
buy
don't
it
get
at the
the
liquor
little-
store.
The
dance.
ice melting.
Yeah, you don't get that.
Yeah.
You don't get strippers with your fifth at Cuban.
Yeah, that's true.
Here, fine. Here's $800.
Whatever. Ma,
Got the room looking like John Morant.
Yeah, I mean,
all-time album cover.
I mean, that's what I'm going to.
yeah.
That's what I'm going.
If I go to Miami,
Spring
that's
break.
that's the way
I'm
I'm.
with Ja.
Like,
Right, that's
know
what I'm
what I
saying.
mean?
You have to have that kind of money
We're
to have
shutting
fun.
Live down.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? We're not trying to get in.
like
We're the reason why people are coming.
Coming,
here.
yeah.
yeah, can I,
This is our appearance.
Try to-
tonight.
yeah.
Like, I'm here to get paid.
yeah, you have to like
Throw money at him, Ja.
cover the whole room.
Make it a blizzard again.
Is he out? Is he went on a redemption tour, right? He's been doing media all over
Yeah,
the
he
place.
did a sit down with Paul Pierce, and then
Oh, Paul
Ja,
Pierce.
Jalen
What-
Rose.
Jalen Rose.
You're like,
Yeah.
Paul Pierce is going to give you terrible advice.
Oh my
Sit
God,
down with Paul Pierce.
I'm thinking
Got
about
himself
because
fired.
I was proud of you, son. I thought you handled it fantastic.
Dude, it's just like I did.
this is the same lifestyle I was living, Ja.
If they'd have paid me like that when I was 23, I'd have done the same thing.
Instagram Live. It's my birthday.
Oh, and he also Paul Pierce did say that he didn't have to shit.
Oh,
No
Whenever he-
doubt. I
Well,
saw
he's gone
that.
back and forth.
He's
on
such a
that.
liar.
Yeah.
Like,
Gar-
bro.
did you see Garnett during
Yeah,
the story?
he's like, so you didn't?
He's like, why are you looking at me like that? He's like, I'm just looking at you like this. What do you mean?
We all know what
Like, I
happened.
sprained my MCL.
Yeah, he's like, and everybody's like,
You smell like ass.
yeah.
You had to sit down in that wheelchair, huh? Man's leaking.
All right, have a good day. Hit that like button, share button, comment button. We'll be back with you tomorrow. Today coming up, Nick Diaz and Out of My League, 3 o'clock. Mikey Matuk and Mic'd Up coming to you, 6 o'clock, recapping the weekend. And Roger Cador, chopping it up with Cador, coming up here on this Monday edition. Don't forget, we'll be back with you tomorrow morning at 7 a.m. Hit that like button,
When's
share
William?
button, comment button. What's that?
When's William this week? Wade.
William Wade is. That's a good question. We need to. I'll let you know. I'll
He
let you
moved?
know. Yeah, he has. His family hasn't. Well, I mean, I say he's moved. He's like staying at the casino.
The LaBerge. Great place for Will.
So good to be back.
Yes,
He's
indeed.
got a little folding money.
Absolutely. The American gangster.
Yes.
Walking through a Lake Charles casino with basketball shorts on, a quarter zip, and a briefcase.
Where's this AAU tournament?
On the phone.
Yeah. I'm playing
Kid
the
behind the
slide.
ear.
Yeah.
I got 200,000 for the
Yeah,
kid.
right.
If he wants it, tell him to take it. Take it or leave it.
I would do.
Lake Charles is just like any other small town, son. If you've seen one, you've seen them all.
Come on down. You'll love it here. It's professional.
You'll never leave the facility anyway.
Yeah, this is, you focus on basketball. Focus on yourself.
It's brand new. I got a food guy who's going to feed y'all all day.
2 hours away from
I'll
Houston.
get you a car. Hell yeah, I'll get you a car.
He's out the nugget. That's what they're saying. I mean, he's got to be a roulette guy, right?
He was hanging out with Mincy.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
I'm sure that was a
He went
shock.
and
That had to be a
watch
shock.
tournament games with
Poor
Mincy.
Will Wade.
Was Will Wade like, hey, you have to turn the volume down on these
There
games?
was
I'll
like
watch him on
shots of
mute.
shots of like Mincy like doing his live hits, and Will's like in a recliner like in the back, like watching TV, and there's like all these like stoolies like hanging out. Like Wade Charles, like Stooley's like yelling at Mints, like, "We fucking love you, Mints,
King of the South."
And Wade's just like chilling. You know, he's like, "Thanks, fellas. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it. Appreciate it."
I mean, that had to be a shell shock. I couldn't pick two polar opposite personalities. Well, Wade watches the game on mute. Mincy is like cutting promos
During the game. At the game.
Good for him. Ingratiate yourself.
All right, everybody, have a great day. We appreciate you being here, starting your week with us. We'll be back with you tomorrow morning.